I asked AI to make a March Madness bracket, and here's what they cooked up. So making it to the Sweet 16 round, guys, we have Duke versus Kansas, we have Arizona versus Wisconsin, BYU versus Purdue, Michigan State versus UCLA. AI actually predicts UCLA beating UConn. And then over here we have Florida versus Vanderbilt, Michigan versus Alabama, Tennessee versus Kentucky. They have Kentucky beating number 2 seed Iowa State. And then over here we have North Carolina versus Houston. By the way, this Duke versus Kansas game would be huge. Cam Boozer and Darren Peterson, two guys battling for that number 1 overall pick in the NBA draft. We have the number 1 seed Arizona moving on to beat Wisconsin. And then in this 6-2 matchup, they actually have BYU beating the number 2 seed Purdue. They really believe in AJ DeBansa. And then over here on the Midwest region, we have Michigan versus Alabama. That would be an insane game. And then over here, we have Tennessee versus Kentucky. They actually expect Kentucky to beat Iowa State. I don't know about that one. And then they also have Tennessee pulling off the upset versus Virginia. So respect to ChatGPT, they're not just going with the favorite, they're actually pulling for some upsets here. Moving on to the Elite 8 round, guys, they actually have Michigan State beating the number 1 Duke. Now for the bottom half of the bracket, guys, we have Florida over Vanderbilt, but do not sleep on Vandy, guys. And then this Michigan-Alabama, I would be very excited for this game. I really like Alabama this year, but they have Michigan winning this game. North Carolina versus Houston, they have Houston beating North Carolina. And then in this Tennessee versus Kentucky game, they actually have Tennessee beating Kentucky. Duke is the first number 1 to fall, guys. And then over here, we have Arizona versus BYU. They actually do have Arizona beating BYU, advancing to the Final Four. And down here, guys, they have the number 2 seed actually beating the number 1 Florida. I really like Florida this year, though. They are on fire right now. I do not want to pick against them, but shout out to Houston. They're picking Houston over Florida. Down here in this Michigan and Tennessee matchup, they are going with Michigan. Tennessee's run ends here. Now jumping to the Final Four, guys. They have Houston beating Michigan State, advancing to the national championship. And then this 1 versus 1 matchup, Arizona versus Michigan, they're actually going with Michigan over the Arizona Wildcats. So ChatGPT predicts a 2 versus 1 matchup in the national championship. Houston versus Michigan, and their national championship winner is Houston. I don't agree with all the picks, but I really don't think they did that bad. Houston is definitely a really good team. Let me know down below what you guys think about AI's picks in the comments, guys.